Good evening, everyone. We are here for rounds 18 and 19 of the SlyDog Racing League Championship, where we are in Monaco and Russia this evening. Joining me is Aaron, as always. Aaron, how are we doing, buddy?
Yes, not too bad, mate, not too bad. Just cracking on. It's been a cold, snowy Monday, but we're here now.
Depends where you are in the country, but certainly for us.
Definitely for us, mate, definitely. But yeah, as you said, 18 and 19, Monaco and Russia tonight for the SlyDog Racing League, sponsored by Grays Bespoke. This week's a big week, because obviously, as we were saying last week, Granty Boy running away with the championship. Any point scored tonight for him in one of these two races guarantees that there is no mathematical chance of anyone else doing it. So
yeah, I mean, when we speak about that, it is pretty much a done deal with the way that these guys have been racing. But tonight will be the crowning moment for that Racing Point team, and of course Granty Boy taking that championship. Been dominant all season. As we take a little look at the standings for the rest of the drivers as well, we have had a little bit of a shake-up this week. We have lost one of the drivers who was competing for a podium position in the championship. That's Panda, who is now out of the league due to other commitments, unfortunately, but it does open up a podium position potentially for Liam Mitchell in the Red Bull, so he's now looking good for that third place. Chatty Duck in second, following up Granty Boy there, and we also have Granty Boy's teammate Albert DeWitt, who is also looking to possibly close in on that podium place to make it quite a good season for those Racing Point boys. We look to the Constructors' Championship as well, and again, dominant performance from the Racing Point guys, but we still have this battle going on between Mercedes and McLaren. Interesting to see how that will play out. Yeah,
that's going to be a huge one. Obviously, the other big change could well be, watching Albert DeWitt and Liam Mitchell tonight. In their quest for that podium spot on the Drivers' Championship, just 5 points separating them in the league, so that'll be very interesting to see.
Absolutely, and we should say as well, stepping in that McLaren seat, we now have Butler, who's going to be joining the league and stepping into that McLaren seat to try and give those guys the boost they need to get above the Mercedes boys for the end of the season. So still a very close battle going on there. You can see the drivers starting to ready up now as we start to get into this short qualifying session in Monaco. Let's start talking a little bit about the track, and I don't think we need to say too much because it's a daunting prospect, Aaron.
Oh yeah, definitely. Once again, it's very much similar to Singapore street circuit. Consistency is going to be the key. You've got to use the width of the track, but that can easily go horribly wrong. Just before we get into qualifying, though, just want to go over a couple of last round incidents. Obviously, last week we saw round 16 and 17 at Singapore and Australia. Albert DeWitt last week had his 5-second penalty removed, and therefore takes second place in Singapore, which really closed that gap, obviously, on Liam Mitchell. And there was a big incident in Australia on lap 1, volley ban for this round. Obviously, ZGS had a bit of an issue with or an incident with Mogi there in the Williams on, I think it was the dying laps, wasn't it, Tom? So
yes,
that was really unfortunate for them too.
Yeah, quite a difficult one there for those guys, as I remember last week, because there wasn't much going on in the race for them. In all honesty, there was not much to fight for. They were towards the back, but unfortunately had that incident and did cause them a little bit of a problem.
Right. I think also we're just going to try and jump in quickly. Sorry, Tom. Going to try and get a word just before qualifying starts with the two boys from the BWT Racing Point team, Albert DeWitt and Granty Boy. So we're going to have a quick word with them in a minute and see how they've found this season.
Absolutely. Great to get a recap from the guys that are leading the way in this league, and I believe we have them both with us now. Albert and Grant, how are we doing?
Yes, very well.
Yeah, same for me.
Fantastic. So yeah, we were just talking, obviously you don't need much tonight to take that Drivers' Championship, Granty. Obviously only the 1 point needed. It's basically been given to you anyways because it's almost inevitable. So how does it feel to finally put the cherry on top of the cake?
Yes, it's been very good. A very good season. I felt like a couple of the guys could have maybe stayed with me on the points, but missing a few races didn't really help the situation. And obviously my teammate doing very well for the points for the constructors as well, and very happy for it.
Yeah, Albert, how do you think the season's gone? How's the season gone for yourself? You guys have, been really dominant. What do you reckon you guys have done differently to make, over the other teams to make that possible?
No, we didn't have anything special to do with that. I just we don't have contact whatsoever during the race. He's got always the advantage for going first into the pits, and I adjust my strategy to that. I'm not racing him, he's not racing me. We're just driving our own race and don't interfere with each other.
You could have fooled us with the way it's gone, yeah.
I mean, obviously, is the way that's gone. How have you guys set your cars up for Monaco? Do you guys share setups before the race, or have you running something completely different?
No, I only had them as a friend on the PS4 today.
So. Yeah, we've only been in parties like from day one, and he's only had me today after winning it. A little bit late on it, but yeah, I felt like Albert's setups have been fantastic. Myself, it's just my own setups. He's never asked me for mine, and I felt like his race pace is pretty decent.
Well, it definitely comes across as I say, you guys are working up some sort of dream team thing here. Obviously, the teams for next year are going to be drawn, or next season, going to be drawn almost at random, aren't they? So it'd be a shame to break you guys up, but could be making a little bit more interesting when it comes to that Constructors' Championship. Just a quick word on the track then this evening. So obviously, Monaco, we all know, is not everyone's favourite race, unless you're a bit of a sadist, in all honesty. How do you guys feel about it?
Not confident at all.
No.
Not confident. I can tell the truth there. It is a hard track. I don't like the corners.
No, not many people do.
No, that's it. No, I'm not very confident. But we'll hopefully try and get that 1 point and yeah, take the drivers.
Seal the deal.
Yeah, seal the deal.
Albert, how are you feeling? How are you feeling about it, Albert?
Yeah, it's a strange track. I've done 52 laps in time trial, and none of them were exactly the same. None of them were exactly that good. It just try to make us less as mistakes in the track, and then from then on.
I mean, I suppose for you, it's obviously in the Drivers' Championship, you're 5 points behind Liam, so you're going to want to try and just better him in this session. Is that the plan? Are you going to just outdo him?
No, I'm just trying to finish the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, good tactic.
Just for having points, you first have to finish.
Exactly.
Agreed,
exactly
yeah.
that.
Absolutely.
Right,
guys, we'll let you get on because I can see that drivers are starting to get onto the track, and you guys need to start focusing on your task ahead. So good luck, guys, and we'll speak again soon.
Yes, definitely. Speak to you soon.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
Take care. Right, so we're going to catch up with the action on track. We've got a number of drivers eager to get out there and try and make the most of this 18-minute session. Obviously, we've already touched on it. Monaco, very difficult track. A lot that can go wrong for these guys out there today, and we'll be keeping a close eye on the guys as they make their outlaps round, just trying to avoid any sort of major disasters to get them set up for this flying lap. Aaron, your personal opinion of Monaco? Let's have it, man. Are you a lover or a hater?
I'm quite a lover, if I'm honest with you. It's a challenge, isn't it? So you just need to focus so much on it, and it's just accuracy. But it's such an exciting circuit to watch. It's one of the most exciting circuits with no overtaking zones, really, to watch. Obviously, we've only got the one DRS zone, which is the start-finish straight, heading down to Sandvot and then up round to the casino. I suppose, Sector 1 is really your only overtaking spot in the circuit. So it'll be great to see strategy-wise how these guys deal with it as well.
I think that Albert touched on it well there. I think the main aim for a lot of these guys is just going to be to finish the race. I mean, I've done it a couple of times in seasons and my team, my career. Monaco, I just can't seem to get it done. I just lose focus, especially if it's over a longer period. These guys are only doing 25% tonight, but even then, to focus for that 25% and to be competitive takes a lot of asking, in all honesty. Just having a look around on the track here, we've got the first runners just setting their outlaps. So Joseph Morados looks like he's going to be the first one across the line. Be interesting to see what pace he can set for the rest of the field. And we will have a lot of people coming across the line shortly after him as well. So Joseph Mirados heading across the line at the moment. Let's see what he can do in terms of a benchmark for this session, and he does set a 1:11.1, so not too bad at all. We'll keep on track. I'll say Liam has just abandoned his lap, so we'll join someone else as they come across the line. We've got Butters now heading round the final turn onto the main straight, so 1:11.1 is the time to beat at the moment. Let's see if he can get anywhere near that. It looks like he is going to be slower, so a good fast lap from Joseph Mirados to set himself up early there. We'll keep an eye on James Punt. James Punt, the Mercedes, of course, keeping the pressure on the Racing Point guys as much as they could, but now looks like they're fighting for that second place. James Punt sets a 1:13.2. So very quick pace from the Ferrari of Joseph Mirados, very nice and early there. We've also got Wheeler, who set a 1:12.5, and some guys will be coming around shortly to join that party.
Yeah, I mean, Joseph Mirados, he done quite well last week in Singapore as well, so I wonder if street circuits might well be his thing. He got that 5th place finish in Singapore, so it'll be interesting to see how he focuses over the race period. I've got a feeling he could be one to watch today, but so I'm really excited to see what Liam and Albert DeWitt have in store for each other. That's going to be exciting. I can see those guys qualifying very closely together.
Yeah, it could be an interesting battle there to spice up that championship. We're going to have a look at Granty Boy, obviously the pace setter for the championship, just about to come across the line on his first flying lap. What can he do at the top of the order? And he doesn't get the fastest lap at the moment. That still belongs to Joseph Mirados, so it's just showing there how quick that lap is from the Ferrari guy there. Beating out the championship leader at the moment. I mean, whether or not it will stay that way, we don't know.
You say that, but if you just take a quick look, Tom, Granty Boy's just set that lap time on mediums.
That is a fair point. I mean, when you consider that does change things quite drastically.
That really does.
Eagle-eyed there, Aaron. Eagle-eyed. But yeah,
just
definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yellow strips.
Oh God, it's been a long night. Did you know I was up till 3 in the morning watching the Super Bowl?
You said an old Tom Brady won't beat a Pat Mahomes.
No,
How
I
wrong
know.
you were.
I know. Tom Brady is the GOAT. I can say that with 100% confidence now because I've learnt my lesson. Right, looks like a lot of the guys at the moment are just making their way round on their second flyers. We've got Butters, who's going to be coming across the line in the AlphaTauri, or no, he's not, he's abandoning that lap, so that must be, looks like his track limits or something like that, because it's disqualified that lap for him. Wheeler coming round on his second flyer, just around the final turn, to get back onto that main straight. Also abandoning that one as well, so again, it's a bit of a confidence destroyer if you do get sort of halfway through this lap and you put it into a wall, or you just get those track limits, because it's so difficult to put it all together around here. It really can mess you up, I think.
Yeah, I think it's one of those circuits where if you can feel that it's not going to be a good lap at all, you're just best off just abandoning straight away and not running pointless laps to then have to go all the way around again to jump into the pit lane. Any slight sign that it's going to be a bad lap, I think you're probably wise just to dip into the pits and just take your time and maybe wait for the track to clear a little tiny bit.
Absolutely. Just a little shout out for Mogi and the Williams, who's gone third fastest so far with a 1:12.2. So a good lap there from the guys in Williams. The Williams guys in the championship firmly sitting in that sort of mid-table area, having a little battle of their own with the AlphaTauri guys and the Renault guys for the midfield title. The Red Bull guys are sort of somewhere in limbo at the moment. So again, a good battle to go on there between Mogi, Wheeler and possibly Butters as the grid sits at the moment. Just having a little look at Trem's lap, he has just invalidated his lap time on his current lap, so we'll move away from that one and see if we can catch up with anyone else. We've got Willis in the Alfa Romeo. Willis, one of our drivers of the week last week, Aaron, from Australia. Cracking race from him. So close to the podium places. Maybe he can get one today. What do you think?
I think he could. He was very, very impressive last week. That Alpha really flew. We'll have to see. Looking at last week's results, faring up on a street circuit, he wasn't quite there. I think he was sort of down the back end of the grid for Singapore, but like you say, in Australia, he was right up there in fourth position. So I'd say, if anything, it could be the Russian race that we're going to be looking at in Willis. You know, he might be looking to try and get a decent finish here and try and finish high up the grid, ready for Russia. Just try and get that qualifying position.
Absolutely. One of the guys we wanted to keep an eye on his progress today, NUFC fan Liam, is just about to set off on a flying lap, so we'll keep on board with him as he makes his way around. Obviously, he'll be battling it out with Albert DeWitt, it looks like, for that third place in the Drivers' Championship, sorry. So a big lap coming up here for NUFC Liam. We're almost halfway through this qualifying session, and so far we've only had 10 laps set. Make that 11. But still, we have a lot of work to do here for some of the guys towards the back of the order at the moment. We've got newcomer Butler, who is yet to set a lap in the McLaren as well, and also the guys of D. Lawson, Simon Jr., Wolsey, and ZGS. Obviously, the guys who are greyed out, apart from Trem at the moment, will have a qualifying ban. So riding on board with Liam then.
What's happened to Trem there? Sorry, I don't quite know where he's gone. I don't know if he's had a bit of an accident, retirement from the session. Didn't see anything happen there, but at least he's got a lap time in there.
He's got a lap time in. It's not a horrendous lap time either. So at the moment he's looking very much middle of the pack. As we watch Liam come round the final sector here, heading into the final turn. Let's see if he can get anything going on. There is a penalty just occurred that I've just noticed pops up the bottom of the screen there. Simon Jr. 5 grid place penalty for a collision with Wheeler. NUFC fan Liam sets himself second fastest on those soft tyres, though. Only 0.2 of a second faster than Granty Boy on the softs.
Granty Boy is now on the soft as well, so this could be where we see a bit of a change. We'll see how he gets on.
So he's currently 2/10 up on his first sector as well, so straight away he's almost nullified that gap in the first sector to NUFC fan Liam. Let's see if he can get anywhere near Joseph Morados, who's, I've just noticed as well, just set a 1:10.5, so that is very impressive from the Ferrari guy there. James Punt does take third place from Granty Boy as well at the moment, setting a 1:11.5. We'll keep on board with Granty Boy as he heads round to the final corners. He's just set a purple sector 2. Let's see if he can take back one of those positions at the top of the grid. It does look fast as he's coming across the line. Is it going to be pole? It is going to be pole by... Oh, it's going to be very close. Again, it's only by 2/10 at the moment. So coming into the final part of this session, we could have a little bit of a battle here between Joseph and Granty Boy for that pole position. He's looking very quick round here, is Joseph, and possibly going to put a little bit of a sting in the tail for what could be the celebratory pole for Granty Boy taking the championship. We'll have a little bit of a look further down the order. We've got Butler, who I believe is going to be setting a lap. No, he's not, unfortunately. His lap is invalidated, so maybe he's going to have another go at a fly now. Needs to get something going to get himself on the grid here. Let's have a little look at Albert DeWitt at the moment, who is just starting another flying lap, it looks like. Albert DeWitt's still on the mediums there. I'm not too sure if his fastest lap was on the mediums or not, but let's have
obviously maybe just has a little bit more confidence in those mediums. Could be just down to that, just trying to find, obviously refining the setup of his car. He might have just found that those mediums have given him that little bit extra grip for such a demanding circuit.
I think it's mainly going to be the strategy game that he's trying to play there, get on those mediums and extend that first stint as long as he possibly can, in all honesty, to make it last and try and gain some advantage when he's going through those pit stops in the race. We'll keep on board with him because he's got a little bit of catching up to do to NUFC fan Liam if we're going to have the battle that we wanted in this first race.
What's the beer of choice for you tonight for this evening of racing?
The beer of choice for me is no beer. All right,
I'm
sticking with the F1's message. You can't drink and drive. In this case, you can't drink and commentate. No, I've gone for a Dr Pepper this evening. I've gone nice and straightforward. I've had a rough day. It's been a rough, 24 hours of not much sleep. I'm going to enjoy my Dr Pepper because what's the worst that can happen? And you can send me my Dr Pepper t-shirt whenever you want, people of Dr Pepper.
I can see that they're itching to send you a box load of t-shirts for that.
That's what I need right now. What you rocking, Aaron? What beer you gone for?
We've gone for some classic Guinness. Gone for the Taste of Ireland, mate, tonight.
Taste of Ireland.
They're more, anecdote juice, really.
Everything's going to flow because you're on the Guinness tonight. Have you put your little logo in the foam?
I'm not that skilled as such. I do have a stylus on the end of my pen, but unfortunately, I've not quite mastered the art of drawing on the top of my phone.
You've got to make that happen and share us a picture. Just following on with a little bit more action on the track, so we do finally see Butler, the second McLaren driver, set a lap, a 1:11.9 at that, so does put himself right into the thick of things with the guys at the top of the grid there. So a very good outing for Butler when he does eventually get a lap together, looking very strong indeed.
In the meantime, I think we've also seen Simon Jr. Retire from the session as well. Obviously, he took on that 5-place grid penalty, so I can only assume he's thought, you know what, I'll start from the back of the grid and see what we can salvage from this race and maybe look towards Russia again.
Again, it's difficult because it's difficult to keep track of the incidents. Obviously, if someone does DNF, put it in a wall, destroy the car, we can't then see what's happened because they're already greyed out. So it could be possible that something has happened to those guys in regards to just losing control and putting it in a wall here, which, in all honesty, is not very difficult to do. Anyone can do it around here. We'll ride on board with M. Willis then. So M. Willis, a fair bit of time to make up here. He's going to put himself in the mix for a shout at the points in this race. Currently rocking a 1:14.5, so second slowest on the of the set laps at the moment. Let's see if he can improve on that. He's 7/10 up on his fastest lap at the moment. There we are. And little message from Simon Jr. Retired in the garage because Mercyman hit me, so I've ended up with a 10-place penalty. Ooh. So sad times for Simon Jr. He's got work to do, but again, not the easiest track to be climbing the places here, is it?
No, unfortunately not. It's going to be a huge strategy game, so it'll be interesting to see what strategy Simon Jr. goes for from the start here. Obviously, trying to look forward to trying to get himself right up the order here, but it's a tough track to worry about that. So
just keeping an eye on ZGS, the only guy who is active in the session who's yet to set a lap. He just set a purple for Sector 1, if I just saw that right. So we'll keep an eye on him for this lap to see what he can do.
I'm pretty sure ZGS should have a qualifying ban, so I think he's probably just running around just to get a little bit of practice. But
he may be, yeah. We'll have to see what ramifications there are if he is going to be out there trying to set a lap. We'll also keep an eye on James Punt, who has gone out to possibly set his last flyer of this qualifying session. So he's currently heading down through the tunnel down to the Nouvelle Chicane. Almost a little bit of racing going on there between him and the Racing Point. That looked very very tight for those guys, but hopefully it's not done anything to compromise his lap, and it looks like he has abandoned that lap, so it must have hurt his chances. He's slowed right down coming into the swimming pool, so it looks like he's going to be getting another go and see what happens.
We can also see NUFC fan Liam just running out of the pits onto an out lap, hoping to probably try and get one more lap in there just to try and improve on that third place. But how would you be thinking, Tom? Are you thinking that if NUFC fan Liam holds that third place grid start down, that he could extend his lead on Albert de Wit?
It all depends. I mean, Albert de Wit currently on the mediums for his fastest lap, and he's got the pace to probably keep up with him in the race. It's not going to be a case of they're going to be overtaking each other anytime soon with 4 people in between them, unless something goes majorly wrong. Because let's be honest, it's just not going to happen at Monaco. So it will just be a case of strategy. I think that's the game that Albert de Wit is playing here to try and get the better of his Red Bull opponent. We'll keep an eye on Mogi as he heads his way down into the third sector. One of the guys in the top 5 at the moment, looking to see if he can improve on that 5th position and give himself the boost he needs in this all-important qualifying session as we head down with a minute left to go. So a lot of guys currently finishing up their flying lap. So Mogi, let's have a look and see where he ends up. He's going to set a 1:11.4 and puts himself third on the grid at the moment. So second row, we'll keep an eye as they come round. We've got Joseph Morados heading round Sector 2 at the moment. We've also going to have Granty Boy coming up to Sector 3. So it looks like out of the top 5, he's going to be the next one across the line. We'll see if he can beat... No, he's going to abandon that lap. He's 7 seconds slower at the moment, I believe, or he's going to try and go for a flyer on this next one round. So, and he's just clipped the barrier there on the final turn. So he's going to be off on a flyer now, so he's going to get that lap in. We'll join him in a second. We've got Joseph Morados, who's invalidated his lap time, crucially. I don't think he's going to be getting across the line to set another lap, so he's not going to go any quicker than he currently has. Mogi is not going to be setting another lap either. We've got NUFC fan Liam, who now looks the most likely to be troubling Granty Boy for that pole position, so we'll ride on board with him. No, it looks like he's invalidated that lap time as well, as the map has just gone red, so it looks like Granty Boy is safe on that pole position. We've got Albert DeWitt, who finally does put the softs on, who looks like he is going for a flyer, but again, red map means invalidated lap time, so I think Granty Boy is pretty safe here as we head into this race, and we all know what pole means on Monaco. This could be, defining in terms of the race race result already.
Yeah, if he just avoids anything that happens going into turn one, 19 cars heading straight into that tight right-hander could get messy. I don't expect that we'll see a complete field finish, but hopefully we will. Let's go on the same aspect as we said last week, Tom. If they're gonna make a hash of it, let's make it spectacular.
Oh, it's got to be big. There's no point messing it up, DNFing.
Oh, another fastest lap as well. Granty set to 1:10, 1:09.
Yeah, so he did set off on that flying lap at the end. We said he would get the lap in, and he's just go ahead and just beat his fastest time. Yeah, no problem. No pressure on him at all there, and he's still.
Interesting bit of controversy is ZGS23 did actually set a lap time, even under a quali ban. So we'll see what ramifications that has.
Okay.
Very shortly, I'd like to hope.
Clearly, some miscommunication there between the guys as to who should be doing what in that qualifying session. So never mind in that case. But we'll just take a look at the final results from this qualifying then. So we'll start at the bottom then. So at the moment we've got Osborne back of the grid, Woolsey back of the grid as well, no time. Simon Jr. with a 10-place penalty to make up as well in 17th, and chatted up with the qualifying ban as well. Slowest lap time was Mercymen in the Renault, followed by M. Willis. Then the Haas of Darren Mark, McLaren in the Trem in the McLaren even. ZGS, who shouldn't have been setting a lap time, does it for the guys in Ferrari. We'll skip through the guys and just head to the top five then. So Albert DeWitt in the Racing Point in 6th, James Punt, the Mercedes in 5th, NUFC fan Liam in 4th, and we have our pole sitter Granty Boy, followed by Joseph Morados, who was looking very quick round there as well. So it's going to be an interesting start to the race. We know that. You can't really avoid that round here. The way that qualifying session's gone, obviously we've seen some guys that have some pace that's close to matching the championship leader. It'll be interesting to see if they get a chance to pass him, or if Granty Boy will just pull away with it from lap one. I hope it's the former. We want to keep this interesting. We definitely want to see some action out here on track today. What do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm completely in agreement. I want to see some great racing. Looking at the screen at the minute, the weather is looking a bit overcast, so potential for rain could make things a little bit interesting. Rain is always interesting in Monaco. So,
yeah, I wouldn't want to be out there if it was raining, in all honesty. That sounds the opposite of fun. But yeah, I think they're probably going to escape it looking at the weather. I think it's just a little bit dark there.
Yeah, if anything, you'll get maybe 1 or 2 laps of a light spitting.
So the guys in this league do have a formation lap as well, just to get their tyres up to temperature and also just give them one look at the track. So again, we'll head down the order. Granty Boy on pole, joining him on the front row of the grid, Joseph Morados in the Ferrari. We've then got the Williams of Mogi with a great qualifying session there, putting himself on the second row, followed by NUFC fan Liam in the Red Bull. James Punt of the Mercedes with Albert DeWitt 6th in the Racing Point. I'm just having a look to see what tyres Albert DeWitt did qualify on in the end. Albert DeWitt did get on the softs, so he's going to be starting on the softs in this race. We've then got Butler, the newcomer, in the McLaren, a very strong outing from him in qualifying, 7th place, with Wheeler 8th in the Renault. All Alpha Tauri 9th and 10th, Butters and Lawson. Again, one of our drivers of the week last week, Lawson. Let's see if he can make anything happen from that 10th position. ZGS, who we're not sure should be there, in 11th. Trem in 12th. And then Darren Mark in the Haas 13th, N Willis 14th, and Mercymen setting the final time in 15th. The guys below him all either retired from the session or had a qualifying ban. And it's fair to note that we're split evenly in terms of strategy, so the top 10 all starting on the softs, and then the lower half of the grid all starting on the mediums. So it will be interesting to see how the alternative strategies play out.
Yeah, that's going to be a major thing. It'll be interesting to see, depending on pit stop times, we might see the entire top 10 and bottom 10 all switch over within a lap. So that would potentially make things a little bit interesting.
Absolutely. So we're going to keep up the position change screen to try and keep track of what happens on this crazy first lap around this wonderful circuit. I'd love to actually go there and just probably drive it one day, in all honesty, because it's one of them circuits where you can do that. How crazy is that? Right, so guys getting finally lined up the back.
Disaster.
It's tempting though, wouldn't it? Just be put the power down into Santa Vot, see what happens. Right, we're gonna get ready for these final moments here of this race. Waiting for those lights to turn on. I believe everyone is in their place on the grid. Just waiting for everyone to get set up, a little bit of movement. Okay, lights are on. Okay, lights out, and we are away. We need to get a better camera angle than this. Come on, game. There we go. Into Santa Vot we go. So all looks clean at the moment. We'll keep an eye on people as they go through. There was an incident there at the back with the McLaren and the Alfa Romeo. Ed Willis looks to have a cracking start there up to 5th. We'll have to keep an eye on that and try and see what happened. Or I think that might just be a little bit of a glitch with the game. So we will get the order in a second. Yeah, there we go. Massive glitch of the game. Everyone's coming back round now. So we'll keep an eye on the big movers and chasers. They all head round the hairpin there. We'll keep an eye on what happens. Make sure everyone gets through there nice and carefully. We've got a Mercedes and a Renault, side by side coming out of the hairpin. Looks like they've gone through that safely though, with no major issues. And everyone is as they were in the top 10 at the moment. So heading down to the end of the first lap, coming down to that first sector, we've got Joseph Morados is hot on the heels of Granty Boy, keeping pace with him at the moment as they head through the swimming pool and down to those final turns of sector 3. So it'll be interesting to see if Morados can keep up the pace with him, how long he can keep up the pace with him for as well, to make this race as interesting as possible. So lap 1, no incidents at the moment, no massive issues. We have Albert DeWitt who's gone into the pit lane. He must have taken some damage there from something on that lap, and he's just got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well, so a double-edged sword there. Chatty Duck also finds himself in the pit, so again must have taken some wing damage somewhere on that lap. Shame for Chatty Duck, obviously starting with a qualifying ban, so already at a massive disadvantage here. And Albert DeWitt, that is going to massively hurt his championship aspirations.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the moment you've got NUFC fan Liam up there, 4th position, scoring points. Albert DeWitt out of the points. So, but this is Monaco, Tom. Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
We have still got 18 laps of this race, and I'm pretty sure that some of these drivers will already be wishing that it's over just after these 2 early laps. So we're right on board with Liam at the moment. He is hunting down Mogi of the Williams. He's within a second of him at the moment. Let's see if he can get anywhere near the rear wing of him there. We've got a 3-second time penalty for Butters already, only on lap 2, and that is going to be a track limits penalty, I believe, for the 3 seconds. So again, doesn't take much around here. Fine margins to accidentally cause yourself some misery a bit later on in this race. So fastest lap from Granty Boy is a 1:13.2 at the moment. We'll keep an eye on those lap times. Joseph Morados, the gap has opened up to 1.4 seconds at the moment. Let's see if he can make any ground on that a bit later on as we head into this race. So NUFC fan Liam still chasing down the Williams. This is very much going to be a focus job for him now, just to make sure that he keeps it within that time frame for the DRS zone on the final straight, I think, and that's going to be his best chance to get past this Williams.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, from his perspective, where he is in the championship at the moment, he doesn't necessarily need to. I mean, it's about a 61 point gap between himself and Chatty Duck for second place, and even at the moment, Chatty Duck being out of the points, this is all going to be a huge gain for Liam. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays this one out. I think he probably will end up making a move on Mogi. It's early doors. He's just going to want to push on. But from a perspective of a championship point of view, he's looking pretty settled there.
Yeah, absolutely. So the guys just sticking with each other at the moment. They're going to be pulling each other around this track for a little while, I think. As we say, there's not much room here at all to get that overtake done. So it's going to take a bold move from someone to make that happen. Just looking towards the back of the grid then, we've got Willis, who's currently dropped down to 18th, and Wolsey, who's had to go into the pits as well, I believe. So those guys struggling straight away. We'll have a little ride on board with James Punt then, who is hunting down the Red Bull of NUFC fan Liam, and he might be the benefiter of this little battle between the two as they jostle for position, just to try and close up that gap and make it a three-way battle as he heads round into that hairpin in the beginning of Sector 2. So Butler, the other McLaren, also on his first outing in this league, a good qualifying session put him into 7th. He's already up a place into 6th. Let's see if he can make any moves and get himself further up the order for this race. And we've also got Wheeler, who's got a 3-second gap to make up there as well. So a lot of work for the Renault guys to do. So far, best movers towards the back of the grid. So we've got Osborne in the other Red Bull and Simon Jr., who had that horrible incident with the penalties in qualifying, but at the moment he's got himself up to 14th. So not a bad start at all there for the guy in the Haas. We say that as he's just gotten himself a 3-second time penalty. So bad time in there, Simon, unfortunately, but I'm sure you can. You can make that up.
Just took it a bit eager over the Novell chicane there.
Absolutely. He's a sucker for penalties, unfortunately, at the moment. He's had the 10 grid place penalty and a 3-second penalty already in this race. But again, he looks like he's determined to make that up. So a couple of guys heading into the pits then. So yes, we've got Lawson and Trem in the pits. Again, not too sure if that is damage related or if that is strategy. We'll have a look and see what tyres they've gone on to as well. So Lawson's gone on to the mediums and Trem is now on the hard. So Trem looking to take this all the way, I reckon, where Lawson may have to be a little bit more conservative with his driving if he wants to take those mediums to the end.
Yeah, this is going to pose a real interesting point now. Obviously Albert DeWitt pitted early, got on the hards 3 laps ago, so now he's got the guys in front of him on the mediums all 4 laps old. It'll be an interesting one to see how much time he's gained back now that those hard tyres are going to be right in the window. Can he make back some of those positions that he lost after lap 1?
Yeah, that's a big ask. I mean, it's a bit of a like we said, it's a demoralising moment, I think, when you make a mistake around here, because you know that it's A, probably not going to be your first one, and B, just how much of a pain it is to get the time back, because if you push hard around here, you're probably just going to make another mistake. Little movement up ahead, so we've got ZGS taking a place on Butters, but that's because Butters has just gone into the pits as well to get onto those medium tyres. So looking good at the moment for the guys who started towards the back. So that is Darren, Mark, Osborne and Simon Jr. all currently sitting 9th, 10th and 11th in those in the Hasses and the Red Bulls. We'll go a bit further up then, head towards the battle we were following at the start. So that was Mogi and NUFC fan Liam. So NUFC fan Liam still right on the heels of the Williams as they head through the Nouvelle chicane and making their way down to the swimming pool. Again, not much room here. We can see they've been at this battle now for a good sort of 5 laps. And we've not much to show for it, in all honesty. They're still about half a second away from each other, and at the moment they look fairly evenly matched.
Yeah, but as we see the 2 front runners, Granty Boy and Joseph Rados, coming into the pits. Joseph Rados has done a great job with keeping up with Grant there.
Yes, yeah, and it looks like they're going to be right together again coming out of the pit. So Granty Boy just getting ahead of Joseph Rados again, so we'll keep an eye on these guys as they both get onto the mediums now. It'd be interesting to see if he can match the pace as well on those tyres as well as Granty Boy used them. Granty Boy obviously showing us that he has got the pace on the mediums, setting that blisteringly fast lap during qualifying on the mediums.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we'll probably see him start to extend his gap. I can expect that Liam, James Punt, Wheeler, all 3 of them will probably be pitting this lap, so I'm just going to keep an eye on NUFC fan Liam just to see how much of a gap he can pull out on the field here, just to see if he's going to really push and pit this lap, or if he's going to try and push those soft tyres just a little bit further.
Well, most importantly, he's got the clean air now because Mogi's also come in to get off those hard tyres and get onto the medium. So if he was going to push, this would be the lap to do it to try and make up the time.
Yeah, I mean, provisionally, from that position that he's in there, you know, the way he's worked this strategy could put him in front of Mogi. Obviously, he's on the road at the moment. Provisionally, he wouldn't have been. But
we do see NUFC fan. Oh, we have our first DNF as well, unfortunately. We've got Butler, we're going to run on board with Butters to see if we get an idea of what's happened to Butler here. Yep, there we are, DNF for Butler. Couldn't quite see any damage on the vehicle or anything like that, but he's stopped there on the Novell chicane. So it's a shame because he was so promising in that qualifying session, getting the 7th place. We may want to have a little chat with him to find out what's happened there in that lap. But again, a shame for Butler there as he heads out of this race. But a massive boost for the Mercedes guys, who are now looking to maximise that points opportunity. James Punt currently leading this race, obviously yet to make a pit stop, but he will be coming in soon, so it'll be interesting. Hopefully that he can keep in those top 10 places. Looks like he should be able to once he's on those fresher tyres. So heading up to 6th and 5th position, we've got Mogi, who just can't seem to shake the competition at the moment. He's now got ZGS hot on his heels. He did have NUFC fan Liam earlier on in this race, and it looks like
it's a great move there from NUFC fan Liam.
We just caught the back of that, yeah. So NUFC fan Liam gets that move done on ZGS, and shortly, I imagine, we'll be back on the heels of Mogi. So brilliant move there from the Red Bull. Fantastic work to get himself back into contention with that 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship. His rival for 3rd place, Albert DeWitt, currently sitting in 10th. So we've mentioned him earlier on, got into the hards quickly after possibly suffering some damage on that first lap. But he's going strong at the moment. He's making up the places where he can as people come into pit, and he's already got himself into the points, and he's on, most importantly, the hard tyre, which is probably going to see him through to the end. We see James Punt has come in for his stop now, and he's got into those medium tyres straight into a battle with Simon Jr. as they head through the first couple of turns, and he does get the better of Simon Jr. there. Having to play a little bit cautious is Simon with the penalty at the moment. Doesn't want to take any more risks, I imagine, to cause him any more pain in this race than he's already experienced. So yeah, James Punt does get into the pits and come out in 8th place, so he's looking good for points for the Mercedes guys at the moment. Obviously, Chatty Doug with the qualifying ban, currently sitting in 15th. Looks like a big ask if he's going to be getting into the points.
It's going to be really interesting in a minute to see, we've got B Wheeler in the Renault running 5th position, ZGS right behind him for company, but he's on those soft tyres, 8 laps old.
Yes.
Surely he's going to have to
He's going to be struggling. Absolutely, yeah. He's going to be struggling for grip at this point, I imagine. And we'll probably see... Oh, contact there from ZGS. So contact on Wheeler, putting him into the wall. It looks like it's going to cost Wheeler a lot of time, so I can see that coming up later on in the race report. So ZGS involved in an incident last week in Australia, which got him the qualifying ban, which it looks like he didn't adhere to, has then caused an accident this week, rear-ending the Renault of Wheeler, so we'll need to keep an eye on that. We'll head back up to NUFC fan Liam then, who was very close to Mogi towards the end of the last lap. Gap seems to have opened up a little bit more on this occasion, but I don't think it's going to be long before these guys are battling out again. They were having a very close battle at the start of this race.
Yeah, looking at more of a battle going on just a little bit further back. 6th and 7th place, Osborne and James Punt really going for it. Osborne on those mediums, 9 laps old. James on the 1 lap old mediums, just 0.7 of a second separates them. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens here.
Absolutely. So not much in it between these guys. They head through the Novell chicane, making their way down to the start of Sector 3. It's going to only take one little mistake from one of them to possibly have this all end in tears, but let's hope they can keep it together and keep this close racing up as long as possible. And we'll probably have James Punt looking to see if he can get a move done coming up to this final straight. He's right on his rear wing there. Let's see with the DRS if he can get the move done. As they race on down to Santavot, is he going to try and take the inside line? He is, but he's not going to get there. He's not going to get the move done on this occasion. So maybe the next lap, or maybe later on in this lap, if he's feeling brave. He's still right on the heels of him. We've got to keep up with this. Again, almost making contact there. So as they come round the casino turn, heading down to the Grand Hotel hairpin, and he goes up the inside there, but always put it in the wall. That's what can happen. We said it's going to take something brave for the move to be done later on in the lap, and it certainly was brave, but it may not have been the best idea, unfortunately. So James Punt looking like he's probably done some damage there as well, probably going to need to come into the pits to get that sorted. The benefiter in that, Albert DeWitt looks himself up into 7th place on those hard tyres. Now he's got a bit of a mammoth task to be chasing down Osborne and getting himself a little bit further up in that order, but just goes to show it's again, it's a difficult track because you're eager to get the moves done. You know that it's possible, but then you try it and something like that happens, and it can be a little bit demoralising.
Yeah, I mean, this has been from a driver of the day perspective, Tom. Just looking at it, we're looking at the two guys that I think are in real contention for it: Osborne and Albert DeWitt. Osborne, from the perspective, he's jumped 12 places so far. Albert DeWitt, though, he dropped all the way back after that pit stop, lap 1, dropped all the way back to 17th. He's now up to 7th again, so he's almost done this race twice.
Yes, yeah. We do see a little bit of movement at the front of the pack as well, and that is because Joseph Morados looks to have come off the track there, just heading round into the tunnel. So one of the guys who was setting the pace for us in qualifying, having a bit of a mare there at the tunnel. He's currently just sideways across the track, ghosting at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see what happened there. Maybe we can get his point of view as he tries to rejoin this race. So a massive shame there for the action in this race, as we were hoping he would keep pace with Granty Boy, who we'll need to give a mention to, is currently rocking an 8-second lead into the 13th lap here. So going as planned, as we thought for Granty Boy, he's going to comfortably take the 1 point he needs, it looks like, to make it a championship win for him. So now with that incident to Joseph Morados, we take another look at the order at the moment, and that shout as Osborne for driver of the day is looking strong. He's just come into the pits. Maybe he's going to be getting on these softs now for the final stint of this race, trying to put the power down and give him the best chance of making some points here. But considering where he started, I think it's probably a good strategy. Albert DeWitt now in 4th as well. So again, that first lap incident not causing him too much of an issue, as he makes up the places very, very efficiently on those hard tyres.
Yeah, it's been a great drive here from Osborne. He's really done well there. Obviously, just knocked back to 8th there, following that pit stop, but he's not lost too much time.
No, he's on the fresh softs as well, so he's going to have the pace to try and make up the time between himself and Wheeler in the Renault. So NUFC fan Liam continuing this battle with Mogi. So these guys in 3rd and 2nd at the moment. As long as they can keep it together, they are looking strong for the podium places. Albert DeWitt 21 seconds to make up to try and get onto that podium. We should point out that NUFC fan Liam does have a penalty, a 3-second penalty, but Albert DeWitt also a 5-second penalty, so that's pretty much going to cancel each other out. And barring any major incidents, you can't see the podium places changing except for this 2nd and 3rd place, which could be coming up very soon. So we'll keep an eye on this battle between the two. Just looking further down the order as well, so the guys we mentioned at the start who were having a bit of trouble, so Simon Jr. With the 3-second penalty and obviously the qualifying ban, sitting in 15th at the moment, so just steadily going round. Chatty Duck, 6-second penalty as well there for Chatty Duck, so that's going to be 2 track limits penalties, so needs to get ahead of ZGS and then pull himself out to get in that reverse grid pole. But at the moment, it looks like ZGS is going to have that wrapped up. So these two guys at the moment, NUFC fan Liam and Mogi, I mean, we've been following them for a lot of the race. Do you reckon they can get the move done? Because it's been so close throughout this whole race, Aaron.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight one, isn't it? 0.6 of a second. He's just coming into the DRS zone now. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough to pull any moves. He's not going to want to do anything stupid. But as we said at the very beginning of the race, that gap that he had there from the points perspective on Albert DeWitt has completely disappeared. Yeah, he's raced a brilliant race, yet Albert DeWitt has really took the fight to him and got all the way back to 4th position. So advantage Liam at the moment, but going into Russia, he's going to be in a really compromising position to potentially, undo all of this hard work that he's done here. So,
yeah,
through no fault of his own, it's still going to keep that championship battle really, really close. I think he's going to be able to, potentially catch Schmogi, but he won't want to, at this point in the race with 5 laps left to go, I don't think he's going to want to risk doing too much due to the fact that Albert DeWitt is lurking right there and would be a beneficiary if anything was to go wrong.
Yeah, I think it's wise, again, following up from what Albert said at the start of this session here, to, you've got to finish before anything in this race. You've got to, the main goal has to be to finish. And we've already seen, what a couple of incidents can do to you, with Joseph Morales, one of the front runners, now sitting in 16th after that incident where he was heading into the tunnel, and obviously Butler, the 7th place qualifier, out the race.
Yeah, I mean, you've really got to feel for Joseph Morales there. He was having such a brilliant race, and he was keeping pace with Granty Boy really, really well there. And he just sets the fastest lap on those medium tyres of 1:12.442.
Yeah, definitely a point to prove for
I think
for himself
he's
there.
going big guns now. He's got to push.
Movement in the middle of the field then, so ZGS gets a position on Trem there, so Trem currently sitting in reverse grid pole. I believe he took reverse grid pole last week as well, if memory serves well, so he does like that 10th place.
Unfortunately, that all went horribly wrong for him. Poor Trem in that McLaren, he just couldn't catch a break. Obviously, that gap in the Constructors' Championship between McLaren and Mercedes still looking relatively close. It's doable, there's still points up for grabs. But last week was a huge hit for the McLaren boys.
Just keeping an eye on a bit of Haas on Haas action at the bottom end of the order. We've got Simon Jr. Hot on the heels of Darren Mark, and then he in turn has Joseph Morales on his heels. They've just both gotten past Darren Mark in the end after Darren Mark has a bit of a nightmare through that swimming pool exit as they both head onto the main straight. So Joseph Morales looks like he's going to have the DRS on Simon Jr. Can he get the move done down here as they head into Saint Devot? Looks like he's got the inside line, and he is going to be getting that done. So Joseph Morales, a man on a mission to try and claim back any of those positions that he possibly can. It's a bit of an ask for him to get into that 10th place and get himself on reverse grid pole, but will be interesting to see if he can jump the order in Russia and try and get himself into the points for that race, setting himself up nicely there with a decent grid position. So we'll head back to the guys towards the top then. So that battle we were keeping an eye on between Mogi and NUFC fan Liam, that gap has now stretched to just over a second, so any chance of the DRS for NUFC fan Liam is looking out the window at the moment. All depends what happens to them coming up to that final turn at the DRS detection zone between turns 17 and 18.
Yeah, just behind them, the battle between Albert DeWitt and James Punt still going on. 1.5 seconds separates those guys. James Punt pushing, but how do you think his confidence is going to be fair enough after that move? That move went slightly wrong earlier on, Tom.
I think it's again, like I said, it doesn't take much to knock your confidence around here, but he's got nothing to lose at the moment. He's put himself into a good position. I think he's just going to be following Albert round now with 2 laps to go, just trying not to make a mistake and jeopardise his good position.
Done a really great job of getting back into the flow. I find it. Oh, just to say that he does clip his rear end on the barrier of the second to last turn there.
So losing a bit of time, but he's got a healthy 11-second lead over Butters, so it's not going to cause him too many issues.
He's found a really nice rhythm again. As I was saying that he did end up just tapping the ball on the inside, but in order to get your race back on track round here, you've got to sort of forget any mistakes that you've made and just crack on, and he's done that really well and started to get back on pace. So that's really good to see.
Absolutely. So again, we'll keep with this close battle for second and third then. NUFC fan Liam with following up on Mogi. We'll actually head a little bit further down to Lawson and Trem, who are having a little battle of their own there for a reverse grid pole. So Lawson eager to take that 10th place away from Trem and give himself the best chance possible in that Russian Grand Prix upcoming. So we'll keep an eye on these guys as they make their way down to the series of corners that make up the hairpin. It looks like there was a little bit of contact there between Trem and Lawson. I think that might have been a bit of his front wing that's just come off. So that is going to be a massive shame for Lawson, who was looking to try and get that reverse grid pole, but it looks like he's now going to start dropping back, unfortunately. So Trem looks to have locked that up if he can keep it together in these final laps. So looking like a good start for him in Russia. We'll head back further up then. So we head round to the final lap and a half here at Monaco. Granty Boy with a commanding 12-second lead, I should say. Not going to be troubled at all here. He's going to be taking the World Championship. Sorry, the World Championship. The Drivers' Championship. Well, why not? Why not the World Championship? He's going to be taking that championship, no problems here, with the 1 point that was needed to put him over the line, and a well-deserved championship at that, considering his performance throughout this season. So if the move is going to get done, it's going to have to get done on this lap. I don't think we're going to see NUFC fan Liam risk it. He's in a good position at the moment. He's over a second away now from Mogi. I think it is just a case of keep it together, take that podium position with a good chance at another podium. So,
I mean, if we look further back, we've got 7th place there. We've got quite a bit of a train going on here between B Wheeler, Osborne and ZGS. It'll be interesting to see exactly what happens here. If there's Butters in the
absolutely
well ahead of them, but
riding on board with ZGS at the moment, who had the incident earlier on, he's very much on the heels of Osborne, so hopefully we don't see anything go wrong for him on this occasion. We'll keep up with him as they start to make their way round the swimming pool there. Hopefully nothing goes wrong here, but we've seen it all go wrong. Butters has just come off the track as well, and he's contacted Butters there. That was a tough one because Butters had ghosted temporarily there, and then it's all gone wrong for him. And just looking at the penalties as well, Trem has just taken a 3-second penalty, and he's got Lawson right on his heels, who I believe also has a penalty that might cancel each other out. So this could be important for that reverse grid pole. Granty Boy has just taken the race win. It looks like it's going to be as we were at the beginning here. Trem and Lawson come across the line as they're already lapped, so we'll keep on board with the battle for ZGS and Osborne. ZGS just taking the position there on the hairpin, I believe. Osborne close on his heels as they make their way down through to the tunnel entrance. So we'll keep an eye on this last lap battle between the guys in 7th and 8th. Can Osborne get that position back that he looks to have just lost from ZGS?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Who we pegging for driver of the day here, Tom?
Oh, it's a tough choice. In all honesty, there's been some good drives out here, especially on this tough circuit. I think we'll have to have a look at the final standings to see what the difference is there. It looks like Osborne isn't going to be able to get this move done as he drops back to over a second on this final lap, and it looks like these two are the last two still racing. So we'll see them cross the line, and that will be it for this Monaco race. Fairly uneventful in terms of massive incidents, only the one DNF, which is great to see from these guys. But an entertaining race at the most. It's been plenty of incidents to talk about and discuss. ZGS comes home in 7th then, so involved in two controversies there, with the incident with Wheeler earlier on in the race, and then the incident towards the end there with the AlphaTauri of Butters. Again, interesting to see what happens. So driver of the day for the game is Osborne. It's going to be a tough one because, as you say, Osborne did have a brilliant race, getting himself up the order there from where he started. But you can't also forget the comeback of Albert DeWitt.
It's a really tough one, isn't it? Because I mean, I'm in the same sort of position as you. I would be inclined to say, from the perspective of the pressure that he was under, and obviously following that start, I'm going to be going Albert DeWitt for driver of the day.
See, this is where we're going to have a problem, because I'm actually going to go with Osborne.
Oh, it's a tough call. It's a tough call.
I tell you what, I'll give you the first tiebreaker of this little debate that's going to happen here. So we'll go with Albert DeWitt for driver of the day. Looked to be having a bit of trouble at the start there, or maybe it was planned all along to get on the hards. But he's played the strategy well, got himself up to 4th place.
To have a mistake in a strategy, get back into the flow, like I said, that's what needs to be done around here. And obviously, he brought the race to it. The pressure of obviously wanting to catch Liam, and Liam running so consistently around the circuit, for Albert to actually catch up and really, not close the gap in points, but stop that from being decided.
Yeah,
so it's impressive.
No, good to keep it in reaching distance there as they head into this second race in Russia. So plenty to discuss from that first race, Aaron. We had the multiple incidents there for ZGS. We had some great moves there as well. We had James Punt sending it into the barriers, trying to make a move. A lot of risk taking there. Not too much. I didn't see anything stupid going on. No major incidents that were going to ruin someone's race completely. Only the one DNF, of course, but still plenty to discuss and digest.
Yeah, massively so, massively so. I think we're in for an interesting race in Russia. It's a quick circuit, and we've got an interesting grid lined up. So it will be an interesting race to watch. Following on from that race, not going to be massive changes in the championship. So
No, and I think we do have to give a little shout for Mogi in the Williams as well, taking that second position. Brilliant points there for the guy who's in the Williams, trying to keep up with the Alpha Tauris there. So a brilliant fight there in the middle of the field for the constructors, and Mogi's just given advantage Williams there. Also Wheeler in that fight for the middle of the battle, getting himself a sixth position, 8 points for himself there. Also fighting James Punt in the drivers' championship is Wheeler 4 points behind. So again, a close battle to watch in this second race as well for those two guys, fifth and sixth. They finished in the last. Obviously, that will be reversed, so Wheeler will have the advantage off the line in Russia. Hopefully, no incidents for those guys, and we can see some very close racing. So, I think the main.
I think Tom, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break, and we'll be right back with Russia. I believe, is that the plan?
That is the plan. So yeah, we won't be too long. Okay, and we are back getting ready for the start of this Russia race as the drivers start to get ready up and we start to get into this lobby. So just having a little look at the group chats between everyone there on the racing. Looks like there is going to be a bit of a problem there for ZGS. He's not going to be getting any points from that race as he should have had the qualifying ban. So you can have a look at that order again and you'll see everyone will shift up once the points are awarded. So again, just you just got to keep an eye on what's going on here because it's all over the place when it comes to awarding the points, and everything can change with reports at the end as well. But yeah, a shame there for ZGS, and obviously involved in the 2 incidents as well. So not a great outing for him so far this evening. So
you've just teed it up a treat there, Tom, because on that note, you've teed it up because if you look in the description of the stream, you can follow the new Facebook page just to keep all up to date with all the latest driver standings, any incidents from each round. We'll update it with as much as we can, obviously, as well as on the page here with highlight reels and
absolutely,
all sorts of fun stuff.
We'll get some highlights up of this session once we are able to digest everything that happened in that first race, and probably is going to happen again in this second race. So interesting to see what happens here in Russia. So this Russian circuit, Aaron, we're both again fairly familiar with, having raced it quite recently in the Thursday Night League. You more than me, because let's not remember.
You had a bit of a mare, didn't you?
I had a bit of a mare. So turn 18 for me as my nemesis. You can't take that too early with the power, otherwise you will end up in the pit wall.
You're going to be going very, very quiet on lap 1 as they all head round there.
I'm going to be feeling it for them.
Moment to remember for you there.
A little bit of squeaky bum time on that first lap for me, definitely. But yeah, they made it up in the 5-lap race though. Had to make it up there. I did start on pole, but I'll take the win.
So what's the key points for this circuit, Tom?
For me, it is all about getting the power down at the right time. There's a lot of 90-degree turns around here. We've got obviously the long sweeping left-hander of turn 3, which you can basically keep flat out. Again, just taking a good line through there is important to maximise the time you can gain. But then out of these 90 degrees, it's a case of keeping the power regulated and keeping it at a point where you don't want to be underdoing it. You don't want to leave yourself short on the exit of the corners, but you also don't want to overdo it and then do exactly what I did on the final turn of this circuit. So it is a fine balance round here. I think it is a fun track to race because you've got an element of being close to the walls in some places and then quite a bit of runoff in other corners as well. So we could see a few instances there where people just underestimate the width of the track and accidentally put it in a wall. But hopefully it's going to be a nice race for these guys. Obviously it's good conditions, no wet races today for these guys, which will be some of them I'm hoping for. Sorry, some of them will be hoping for a nice clean race here. Obviously a fair few incidents to think about in that last race as well. So a couple of guys having to make up for some lost time in this Russian session.
Just as we're getting ready here, we see there's been issues already. A lot of people leaving the session.
Right, so we may need to keep an eye on that as we get to the start line. It could be that we may have to restart this.
No, we've had a red flag as the grid is not correct, apparently.
Right, okay. So there we have it. It looks like we are going to be restarting this race at some point. So a lot of people seem to be leaving the session, as you can see at the bottom of the screen there. So it's almost like half the grid that have left the session.
Just looking at it though, from a perspective of tyre choice, if the tyre choices are going to remain the same for this race, we see that the first 6 drivers running the soft tyre all the way down to James Punt, Albert DeWitt is the first of the medium runners, followed by NUFC fan Liam. So those guys, that could make for a real interesting matchup when the 6 drivers ahead of them pit. We can expect a real tight battle there if it all goes well for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So just trying to get an idea of what's going to happen with this race start now. So as you can see, quite a few people are ghosted there from having left the session. I think we're just waiting for the final few guys to retire potentially, and then we're going to see a restart happen. And yeah, it looks like we're all being invited to a new session as we speak. So we're going to leave this session and get into that new session so we can get cracking straight away for this Russia race. So a little bit more waiting to do, it seems, but we'll have it with you guys shortly.
Right, update from the last race. We chose Albert DeWitt as our driver of the day. Plenty of action happened in Monaco. Plenty more to come now, I think, in Russia. I think this could be a really, really exciting race to watch.
Yeah, definitely. It's plenty of close battles. Again, that long sweeping turn, the left-hander of turn 3, is looking like it's going to be a battleground for a lot of people. And again, what I was saying about getting the exit out of the corners, because you've got that flat out turn 3, the exit out of turn 2 is that much more important to give yourself a good run into that long left-hander. And I feel like if you get the exit right out of there, it's you can gain so much time just from getting that pitch perfect. But the danger there is it's a famed place for track limits. It's very easy to pick up a penalty heading over those curbs in turn 2, which are easy to take because they're not very high curbs around here. There are some curbs you do need to keep an eye out for, so that's turn 15 and 16, one of the chicanes towards the end of the track. If you get too high on those curbs, it could be very easy to spin it, putting the power down in that final sector. And also the curbs of 13 and 14, again another tight chicane, in which if you take it too tight, you are just going to be losing time as you bump over those curbs. So 2 DRS zones on this track as well, so plenty of space for those long overtaking runs. The first DRS zone is just an extended straight, just with a little kink in the middle. It's flat out, of course, in these cars, so we should see a lot of action there. And the second one, again, it's not a complete straight, but it is completely flat out. It's crazy. I'm looking at the track map at the moment. Have you seen what they call turn 11?
I haven't, no. What do they call turn 11?
It's just not what they call it. It's like, how is it even a turn?
It's not. It's definitely not.
It's not a turn, is it?
Diagram now, yeah.
They're pushing it there. Do they just have like a minimum requirement they needed to meet or something, and they just stuck a little 11 in the middle of that straight? Because that's not a turn for me. That's ridiculous.
We'll class that as a turn.
I think they're pushing it with 9 and 8 as well, because as I remember, that just all feels like one massive corner. Again, they're just trying to make up the numbers, I think. Right, so looks like we are just getting everyone back into this session and getting the grid set up. Obviously, there was an issue with the last session and the grid there.
I hear some Dr. Pepper pouring going on in the background as well.
Some fine Dr. Pepper pouring. How are we doing for the Guinness? Are we on number 2 now or number 3?
It's going great. We're a couple in. I didn't want to say anything in case the missus is watching, purely because she's a lovely table runner. Well, you never know. You never know what she's doing. But I had a lovely little spillage all over a nice table runner, so that was exciting. Moment of panic. Soon sorted with a few double ply tissues.
What are we rocking there, Bounty?
Do you know what? I can't even see the tissue box from here. It's sort of disguised. Over there somewhere, but yeah, you know, they sorted the issue out, and I think it's fairly unrecognisable. So we're going to roll with it.
You're going to roll with it. Nothing happened. I'll back you up on that.
Exactly.
Just cut this right now. Into your highlights. Nothing happened at all with the Guinness and the spillage. That's nothing for you to worry about.
I mean, I'm looking at it now. It's looking fairly disguised. And just keep the lighting low in the room. It won't know a thing. Top tip for any gent out there who ever spills anything on the Mrs. Table Runner.
We all need advice on that, because I think we've all done it at one point, trying to hide some sort of spillage from the missus on either the sofa, the rug, the table.
That's a really interesting. Yeah, actually, do you know what? When we, I think the plan is after this race to get a chat with a couple of drivers, so we'll get a couple of drivers' opinions on that as well.
Yeah, what are we using? I mean, for me, it's just pick up the nearest thing that absorbs and just chuck that on it, whether that's a towel, a scour, a sponge, a flannel. Just chuck it on there and hope for the best.
And then you realise that it's her scarf.
Yes, yeah, that's happened. We've been there. Right, we'll have a little look at the schedule coming up then for these guys. So the season is decided, obviously, with that last race, as we mentioned. Granty Boy takes the Drivers' Championship, and also the Constructors' Championship already wrapped up for the guys in the Racing Point team. They still have after this Russia race 4 races left to go. So next week we will be in Brazil, qualifying in Brazil, and the 25% in Brazil, followed by the 25% in Canada. So 2 of my favourite circuits there. I quite like racing both of those circuits, and Canada are a firm favourite of mine from early F1 games. So looking forward to that. And then the final racing day of the season, is going to be in Abu Dhabi. Not my favourite circuit, but again, it's fun to race round, but not great to watch, in all honesty, as we've seen from previous F1 races. And then Bahrain Short, which again is a new circuit in terms of this game, and makes use of the second and third sectors of Bahrain Normal, so not like the Bahrain Short we saw in this F1 2020 season. And that will round out season 2 for us. We'll then probably have a break before we get on to season 3, where we're going to have a new format, I believe, in terms of the team picking. It's not going to be people pairing up, it's going to be drawn at random, and you're going to have a top 10 driver paired up with a bottom 10 driver to try and keep it as equal as possible.
Bit of an NFL draft style picking then, really.
That would be good if we can get trades involved and give everyone a draft grade as well. But now we're getting too much into it. So it looks like we are getting ready to get back into this Russian session after a long wait to get the grid sorted, and also get people sorted in terms of getting them into this new lobby. So apologies for the delay, missing out on the action there.
Right, so here we go. Russia, it's coming up. It's going to be an exciting race. Tom, who are you pinning for a really good session here?
I'd like to see Joseph Murados redeem himself after his incidents in Monaco. He was looking so strong in the qualifying and in the early part of the race, looking like he was going to keep up with Granty Boy and put some pressure on him. He's got a little bit of work to do in terms of where he's going to be starting in this race. Obviously, we expected him to be in the top 10, but then that incident in the middle stages of Monaco caused him some issues. So I'd like to see him show his true pace at this track and get back onto possibly the podium if he can, or at least into the top 5 places here. I think we're also going to see the guys who are in that sort of 8th to 12th sort of region in Monaco looking to make some moves here early on. Obviously, a bit of frustration in Monaco if you were in that sort of middle pack and you couldn't get the moves done. You didn't really have much room. Whereas Russia, it's a nice wide circuit in comparison, and there's going to be plenty of room for these guys to get moving and get some nice moves done. So hopefully we can pick up some nice moves on the stream and get that cut into the highlights for you guys a bit later on. So just looking at the starting grid then, so we've got Lawson on pole position after taking 10th place in Monaco, with Trem in second. The second AlphaTauri of Butters makes up the second row with the Red Bull of Osborne, who we were very close to awarding that final driver of the day position to. But Albert DeWitt did take that from you in the end. Wheeler and James Punt is the battle we were speaking about as well, so that's going on in the Drivers' Championship between the Renault and the Mercedes, so another close battle to keep an eye out. And then we have the battle for third place with Albert DeWitt and NUFC fan Liam on the fourth row of the grid, so something to keep an eye on pretty much every single row of this starting grid.
Yeah, it's going to be a great start. I think it's going to be an interesting run down into turn 1. Obviously, a lot of people, they're going to be trying to make some moves. NUFC fan Liam, going to try and make a move on Albert DeWitt. And we're going to see I think we're going to see a really exciting turn 1. Hopefully not too chaotic.
Yep.
We want some longevity out of this race, but it's a great circuit for that. You've got some real, it's a real contrast to what Monaco was, as you were saying. It's a quick, fairly long circuit, but with plenty of overtaking points, plenty of places where the door can be left open. So I'm looking forward to seeing some good moves.
So yeah, as you say, fairly long circuit, only 13 laps make up this 25% race, so it will go by quickly for these guys, I think, compared to the quick fast-paced action in Monaco.
And the dog's joining in.
The dog is so interested, isn't he? He's absolutely loving it. I bet he's following them on the screen and trying to eat them or something.
He's a huge fan.
Yeah, he strikes me as a big fan.
He could be the answer to all my problems. I could just get him to clean the table runner for me. Although I don't promote giving dogs alcohol.
It sounds like you do. Just having a look at the tyre options then. So Albert DeWitt and NUFC fan Liam heading out on the mediums, as does Granty Boy. Further down, we've got Chatty Duck, Simon Jr. and ZGS also following the same strategy. But the majority of the field are on those soft tyres, looking to capitalise on early, quick pace, it seems. So
Yeah,
they're just getting ready.
See how Mogi does on those soft tyres sandwiched in between Granty Boy and UFC fan Liam and Albert DeWitt. That Williams, he was looking quick earlier on, so it'll be interesting to see exactly how he gets off on the start on those softs.
So we're going to let them all line up here. The final drivers just taking their places on this grid. We are just waiting for those lights to go out as we got the long run down into that turn. 5 lights, and we are away here at Russia. So it looks like to be a good start from the AlphaTauri there of Lawson as they come round this first bend. AlphaTauri is leading from Trem, and then the Osborne has taken third place already from Butters as they head down into this long braking zone. A lot of movement there from Osborne, looking to make the move on Trem as well, it seems, but he's not going to get it done on this occasion. And it looks like Wheeler has also gained a couple of places, as does James Punt on Butters as well. So a disastrous start for Butters, who from third goes down to sixth, but a brilliant start for the guys behind him. Joseph Morados, one of the names we were mentioning, hoping to get a good start, does put himself up into ninth as well, very quickly. Severe collision with Mercy Men then for the for Willis. It looks like he's got a penalty, and the safety car is out already as well. So we'll see if we can get an idea of what happened a bit later on when we go through the instance here. So 5-second penalty for Wolsey, who has a collision with Willis, and I think Willis also had a collision with Mercy Men. Mercy Men also has a penalty already. So safety car on lap 1 here, which is a shame because that was a very, very good start there from the guys at the front of the grid. Obviously Butters losing a couple of places, but that plenty of action into that first turn.
Yeah, I'm just looking, we're going to be expecting to see M. Willis in that Alfa Romeo head into pit lane with a bit of front wing damage there, it looks like to me, which is a real shame because we were both saying just before Monaco we pinned that Alfa to be really quite quick round here, which is such a shame for him. But we see further down the order, sorry,
as I say, another casualty. NUFC I know what you're about to say. Yeah, NUFC fan Liam. So he's headed right back down into 18th place. We'll just get a look to see if we can see any damage. It looks like he's missing possibly an end plate there on that front wing, so definitely taking some damage. Side. Yeah, so he's going to need to get into the pits to get that sorted. I think we're going to see quite a few dive into the pits here to take care of any damage they may have picked up on those early incidents. Mogi seems to be doing that as they head on down into that pit lane, and yeah, everyone diving into the pits here. So massive shake up on the order. Don't pay too much attention to the order on the left hand of the screen. We'll wait till all the drivers get back out on track to try and digest what has happened.
Trem has jumped in under safety car. He was leading or up there at the very front end of the grid. He's even jumped in without any damage, it would seem, just seeing the hard tyres on.
Yeah, I think the guys are going to be making the most of this safety car just to try and get themselves, on strategy-wise, just to try and get themselves as much advantage as possible. So Mercy Men staying out then with the 5-second penalty. Doesn't look to have any damage that we can see just by watching his car go round. But he's obviously wanting to make the most of what he can in this race now. So we rejoin the order. We've got a couple of people back out on track now, so it's showing that James Punt has actually taken the lead in this race at the moment. No, it's all reshuffled round again. Granty Boy is leading this race at the moment. We'll just wait until the safety car makes his rounds because I think this is just going to keep chopping and changing. Yep, as it does. So we won't pay too much attention to the side of the screen there. It looks like it's probably going to be the AlphaTauri of Lawson. I think that's how it is at the moment. Yes. So Lawson keeps the lead on this race at the moment. Did he get in and make a pit stop, Lawson, there? I'm just going to have a little look to see what tyres he's on. No, he's still on the softs, so no change there for Lawson in that
looks very much like
race.
Redemption could be on its way as well. Joseph Rados now up to 4th position, so great start for him.
Yeah, absolutely. The Ferrari obviously suffered that major setback in Monaco when he was going so strong, and it's good to see him straight back into the action here. So just keeping an eye out. I think the safety car might be coming in this lap as the drivers start to bunch up, or they may just be going around for another one, as we've got the Mercedes just trying to catch up. Chatty Duck there trying to catch up to the field. So no, safety car will be going round for another lap, probably coming in the next lap then. So it's a shame because it's going to take sort of 4 laps out of this race, and it's already quite a short race, only 13 laps. So these guys just trying to manage the tyres, trying to keep as much heat in there as possible, and you know it's going to be a bit of a tough one in terms of getting the power down when you're on those cold tyres on that 90-degree turn on the final corner, as you know I famously found out. So yeah, a lot of tyre management going on for these guys at the moment, just making sure they get them right in that window where they can feel confident putting the power down and feel like they can make a challenge on their rival as they head down into the long straight here in Russia. So we could be up for a very entertaining restart, Aaron, as we head down into that first turn.
Yeah, it's going to be a great restart. Shuffles the grid up a bit. Everyone's going to be nice and close running together, so it'll be exciting to see what happens here off the restart. It'll be interesting to see at what point Lawson thinks it's go time, because as we've said many a time, coming around that turn 18, you don't want to pin the power too early, so
no, and
it'll be
obviously
interesting to see when he decides to go.
Yeah, the start-finish line is literally right on the exit of that corner, so he's going to have to decide to go, you know, pretty much, I'd say, turn 17, turn 18, somewhere in that gap. It's just where does he start to put that power down, and can he hold it together?
Isn't it? Yeah. He's got to. I think he's going to be looking to try and catch Osborne out, because we saw Osborne's having a real quick evening. He's got some real fast runners behind him. You know, so it'll be interesting to see exactly when he makes that decision. Safety car is in this lap, so we're about to find out what that decision is going to be.
They've still got a couple of turns to go around, so this is going to be all important now. Just keeping the heat in those tyres, ready to set off on this restart and get the racing underway again.
Your anxiety's kicking in for that turn 18 there.
I'm nervous. I want to see it all stay together. I want to see a clean exit here. So we'll keep an eye on Lawson.
Pretty sure that's what you thought about your car when you started the race a couple of weeks ago. I want to see it all stay together.
We're going to ride on the rear wing of Lawson then as he heads round to turn 17, just to try and get a view of what's going on behind him. Obviously nothing going on ahead of him because he is leading, and it looks like he's going to be going right now. So we are back up and racing. Osborne trying to hunt down the AlphaTauri, looking to get that slipstream there.
Well.
Yeah, he has got a better exit. Looks like he's making up
he
time.
lit the rear wheels up. He did light the rear wheels up on turn 18 there, just losing a little bit. I don't think he's gonna lose out because of it. So
no major issues there. So a good start there from Lawson, keeping that first position that he needed to, but it is all very close behind him. So Osborne, Albert DeWitt looking to make a move on the inside there on Osborne. He was having a little look, but he's way too far back at the moment. But that might change in the upcoming turns. He's right on the rear wing of him now. It's not taken long to make up that time at all. So Joseph Morados also getting in on the action. He's keeping up pace very nicely with the racing point of Albert DeWitt as well. Albert DeWitt goes wide there, and Joseph Morados looked like he might have had a chance. So we'll keep an eye on those two, because that gap is now sort of less than half of a second between them as they head into this long straight at the back of the circuit.
Riding a bit further back, I'm just having a quick look here at ZGS in the Ferrari, right on the tail end of that Alfa Romeo of Wolsey, just 0.3 of a second away, heading through that next potential DRS zone into the final sector. So I'll be interested to see if he tries to make a move on Wolsey. Obviously, the last couple of rounds we've seen incidents involving ZGS. He's a bit excitable when it comes to getting a move done. So
a bit of a loose cannon, I would say. Yeah.
He will commit, and he almost lost the back end just coming down towards turn 17 there, but he's kept it together quite well as we see Lawson sets the fastest lap, and off of turn 18 ZGS gets an absolutely wonderful drive, and he is slowly catching Wolsey, but I don't think he's going to
get that
done yet.
So riding on board with Joseph Morados as they come out the exit of turn 2, this long left-hander of turn 3, so he's going to have a good look at Albert DeWitt here. He's going to gain on him, he's going to try and set himself for the inside line, maybe a late braking move. Nope, he's going to play it safe and just let Albert DeWitt take that position but he's going to be hot on the heels for him on this lap 5 of this race. Albert DeWitt sends it a little bit wide there, opens the door, and it looks like Joseph Moraldos has got the inside line coming up to this turn now, and he's going to get that move done. So brilliant from there.
Fantastic
Brilliant
move
from the
there.
Ferrari there. Just making use of the mistake there from Albert DeWitt and putting himself into the podium positions. Let's see if he can chase down Osborne. So it looks to be like he's not even blinked, and he's already closing that gap between himself and the Red Bull. And Lawson as well, looking to pull out now a little lead on Osborne. Nothing ahead of him. Plenty of time to just keep things going. Albert DeWitt having another look there as Joseph Rados doesn't want to be given up to that position easily. It seems he's keen to gain that back, but he seems to have dropped back now as we head round these final turns and heads wide out of that turn there.
A little bit further backward still, I'm just keeping an eye on that ZGS Wolsey battle, because we've now got Trem joining the party as we see DRS has been enabled.
So brilliant view from Trem's front camera here as they head onto that final straight. Trem looks to have the outside line on ZGS, so it looks like he's going to take the 6th position from him as they head round here. Will he make a move on Wolsey as well? It looks like he's going to have the space to get it done, and he is going to make that move. Wolsey late on the brakes, but Trem is going to have the inside line and does make 2 positions up there on that straight. What a brilliant bit of racing there to take 2 positions on that straight. Fantastic from the McLaren driver to get that done. You'll notice Albert DeWitt has gone into the pit, so he's gone into the pits. Looks like a strategy option there for Albert DeWitt. Also taking a penalty, speeding in the pit lane probably as well, because he seems to get that every time he goes into the pits. Joseph Rados, I've just noticed as well, has already taken 2nd position from Osborne, so we've missed that one in the excitement of the double overtake for Trem, but not surprising considering the pace he's been showing already in this race. 9 positions up, as is Mercymen, 12 positions up in the Renault actually, so something to keep an eye on there in terms of that driver of the day battle. Good to see Wolsey up there as well, 6th position. We've seen him struggle in a couple of the races so far, but I say that and he's actually just dropping down the order, so we won't jinx him any further. We'll keep on board with him here as he's got a good view of the battle going on between himself and ZGS. Granty Boy carving his way through the field as well, getting himself up to 6th position. So he's right on the heels now of Trem coming into these final turns of 17 and 18. We'll see if he can get the move done on this final straight. All depends on this vital exit here. No dramas there. Trem does put it on the grass a little bit, so that is going to compromise his exit. And we're going to see DRS here for Granty Boy as well. So he's going to take 5th position from Trem on the here. There's no stopping that. He's got the DRS. That's a done deal. Trem tries to send it up the inside, but that's cost him. That has cost him dearly. So that is going to be a bit of a disaster for Trem as he heads all the way back down to 13th at the moment. And I believe he took some damage there as well with his end plate going flying. So not a great couple of laps there for
that was tough,
the McLaren.
Unfortunate for him there. He was feeling racy, and you can see the commitment. Just looking to push it into that braking zone. Granty Boy had the car in a decent position, and he was lucky not to lose out there. Really, through no fault of his own. Really,
devastating.
I think hold his hands up to that, but misjudgment. It happens.
Devastating considering the move that he had just pulled on the guys for that double overtake. We have a DNF. We've got Darren Mark in the Haas, who is out of this session. Looks to be retired in the pit lane, I believe. So obviously an issue there, possibly with connection. Granty Boy taking the position 4th from Mercymen. Nice and straightforward from there on that chicane as he starts to hunt down this race lead. So he's got about 7 or 8 seconds to make up in these remaining 6 laps. So can he get that done to make it a double victory for him this evening? Lawson has got a little bit of company now. He's got Joseph Moraldos within a second of him on this main straight. I don't believe Joseph Moraldos has got DRS at the moment, so he is keeping within that second for the all-important DRS detection zones. We'll ride on board with them now because this battle could come to fruition midway through this lap if Moraldos can keep up the pace. And so far he's been putting out some brilliant moves as Joseph Moraldos.
Yeah, I mean these guys are running both on the soft tyres. In fact, the first 3 positions they're running 7-lap-old soft tyres. It's going to be interesting because Osborne is only 4 seconds back, along with Granty Boy 1.8 seconds back. So this could all bunch up very, very quickly depending on how this battle between Lawson and Murados goes. Obviously, with Lawson potentially having to go for a bit more of a defensive drive in the coming lap.
And I say that just as they head down into the second DRS zone, so within 5/10 of Lawson now, and he's got the DRS, and that gap is closing so quickly as they head down here. I don't think he's going to have enough to get a move done into this turn because it is a really heavy braking zone here. It's a lot to risk it into there. So maybe we'll see something happen coming up on the main straight then, as these guys head round into the final sector.
It would be an interesting one to see now whether one of these guys pits at this point. I'm wondering if one of them might just dive in here quickly just to avoid a battle. No, they're going to go again.
Looks like it's going to be a battle on this lap, so this is what we wanted to see. So DRS for ZGS, can he get the move done? We'll ride on the rear wing of Lawson to see if he can get it done here. Looks to be like Lawson's keeping him at bay at the moment, but it is a long old straight. Is he going to make a little bit of a gamble here going up the inside? No, he's going to be too far back to get it done. They almost contact there, but they both keep it together most importantly, and that was a brilliant view there I've got from the rear wing of Lawson. A little bit of contact there from the rear right onto the front left of Joseph Murados, but they both keep it together crucially, unlike the battle we've just seen with Granty Boy and Trem. Granty Boy, who we do have to mention, is catching them very quickly though. He's already up into third.
Yeah,
3 seconds, 3.5 seconds to make up.
It's all going to come down to how this battle pans out. Murados is going to want to look to get this settled really, really quickly. He wants to get past Lawson and start pulling away because he knows Granty Boy will be catching him up. Obviously, Lawson, from his perspective, he's kind of a sitting duck in these two DRS zones. I think Murados might be close enough here to make a move, depending on D Lawson's ERS tank and seeing how much he's got there to use. He's held him off at this point. He's gonna.
I think he's gonna be looking to get the move done finally here to open up the gap between Granty Boy if he can get ahead, because Granty Boy is catching at an alarming rate. It was 3 seconds a minute ago. It's now down to 2.2. So if he's gonna get it done, he needs to get it done here. I say that as Lawson gets a good exit there out of those two tight corners, and looks like he's going to get a great exit out the final corner as well. So DRS for Murados as they head down this final straight again. We'll ride this time on board with Murados. He put a late move in on Lawson on the second corner here. He's not going to be in range to try that again, I think. It's going to be very late braking if he is going to have a go. But no, he is not.
Once again, Lawson, I think, using that rich mix to his advantage just to try and counteract that DRS of Joseph Murados. He just can't. He has the exit out of turns 17 and 18. Lawson is really, really managing that race well in the closing sector of these laps.
So Granty Boy catching Murados, but he will be comforted by the fact that Granty Boy does have a 3-second penalty, and obviously the guys in front, Lawson and Murados, currently running with no penalty. So providing they can keep this within the track limits and keep within 3 seconds, because Granty Boy is catching, as I say, at an alarming rate. He's already within a second of Murados, and he's going to get the DRS in this second zone. Then they're looking good for a podium. So difficult exit there for Lawson, and Murados is going to take the lead of this race because he's run a little bit wide there as Lawson on that exit, and he's opened up the door, and Murados
in as well.
Yeah, that's going to be a disaster for Lawson there coming out of that final turn before the DRS zone. So he loses the race lead and then loses second in the same straight. So not great at all there. This is going to be an interesting battle now. So the two quickest guys on the track in Monaco now doing battle in the final 3 laps here, Russia. But Murados has to come into the pits. So Granty Boy is actually going to be taking the lead here.
Granty Boy is taking the lead, and he's on soft tyres. It'll be interesting to see. Granty Boy, will he have to make another pit, or will he run these on to the end? He's already made one stop.
I think you've got to make him work. He's going to be a good 7-second gap over NFC fan Liam with 2 laps to go. I think he's pretty much safe here as long as he can keep it together on the track. Lots of movement going on behind us. We've got Wheeler and James Punt, that battle that we spoke about earlier on. Wheeler currently getting the better of the Mercedes driver as they head into turn 2. We'll keep an eye on this little battle because it is a tight one in that Drivers' Championship. So James Punt looks to have got the jump there on the sweeping left-hander. He takes the inside line and he will take 4th place. Albert DeWitt looking to get in the party as well, but they're going to keep it together as they head through into the end of Sector 1. Albert DeWitt looks to get the inside line there on Wheeler and does get the move done as well. So a bit of a disaster there for Wheeler in that first sector, losing 2 positions, and crucially, one of them to James Punt, his championship rival at the moment. Speaking of championship rivals, we mentioned the name NUFC fan Liam at the start. He had a bit of a struggle. He's into second. Where did that come from?
Do you know what? I was just thinking exactly the same thing. I was
completely
also
unnoticed.
Butler
Butler.
McLaren.
Fantastic.
Up into the podium position.
So DNF'd in the first race. I didn't see it coming. We were so intrigued with the battles going on behind. But yeah, Butler getting himself up into the podiums at the moment. So this could be, on his maiden outing in the SlyDog Racing League, a podium, which would be a brilliant result and a brilliant, promising future for the McLaren team if they can keep it going in these last couple of races. So pretty much everyone in the field... He's already made his stop. Everyone in the field has a penalty at the moment, bar Joseph Morados. So if he can keep that going, he'll at least get the reward for cleanest drive of the day.
Yeah, and I think they will bump him right up the order. You look how close positions are from Trem in 7th down to where Morados is in 11th.
Sorry, butting in. I've got a move going on with Albert DeWitt heading into that first turn, trying to go around the outside of James Punt. Can't quite get the move done, but it has opened the door for Wheeler as they head down into this long sweeping left-hander of turn 3. Wheeler gets the inside line and does get the position back on Albert DeWitt. So this battle for full 5th and 6th is changing ever so quickly as we head round this circuit. We'll keep on board with Albert DeWitt, who has a good view of the 2 guys up ahead. Wheeler looking to close that gap on James Punt now and get a place back on his championship rival. Very interesting stuff here as we head round these final 2 laps of Russia. Again, a great circuit for battles, keeping it close, and plenty of room for overtaking as well. I do like this circuit, Aaron.
I must admit, it is one of my favoured circuits on the calendar. Really,
it's grown on me for sure.
It's a pure racetrack. It really just offers everything. The one complaint I do have about it is how strict those corner cutting stringencies are.
Oh yeah,
you can really pick up a penalty quite easily.
Sorry, just keeping an eye on the action. Wheeler runs a little bit wide into that chicane and drops back a little bit there on James Punt, having to be a little bit late on the brakes to make up the time there. And sadly, as you mentioned, the time limits, track limits penalties, we see Joseph Morados does finally get a penalty. Albert DeWitt heading into the pits here, not too sure whether he's just going for fastest lap or what the situation is there, but he's heading into the pits for a fresh set of tyres. A lot of action going on with Joseph Morados now, hunting down his Ferrari teammate of ZGS on this final lap, and that is a little train of cars there, so ZGS, Lawson and Trem all doing battle. Lawson gets the better of Trem there as they head into this second corner. Morados looks to be getting the better of ZGS, and he has taken that position from ZGS. Trem sticking in 7th at the moment. So good little battle there for 6th and 9th. Yeah, it's all over the place. It's difficult to keep up with, in all honesty. Apologies if you do get a move done and we miss it.
The 2 Chapatas there of Morados and ZGS absolutely flying together there up behind Trem.
You say chapatis or ciabattas? That was difficult to understand. Oh. But either way, good to get a bread analogy in this week, even if it is on the last lap of the second race. So we'll keep on board then. We'll keep on board with Joseph Morados, I think, because he's got a brilliant view of the 2 battles. So the one behind him with his teammate, and also Trem as they head round to this final DRS zone. So looks like Joseph Morados is going to have the DRS. Granty Boy does take the win, by the way. We should at least get that in there with his double victory. Joseph Morados going to get the move done, it seems, or we're going to have Trem send it up the inside. Does go wide, but he has kept the place still. So this is going to be very tight into this final part of the track, as we see Morados take the inside line into that little chicane there, and Chatty Duck has come out of nowhere as well. Looks like he might even get the position on Trem as they head round into turn 17 and 18 on this track. So Morados leads from Trem at the moment. Oh, bit of a wide corner there from Chatty Duck, and he loses the positions. Oh, and a spin across the line as well.
Across the line there.
Has he finished? Yes, no, he has got the checkered flag, but he's dropped massively down the order there from that spin. So absolute carnage on that final lap. I mean, I couldn't make head or tail of it what was going on, but fantastic racing. It was all a bit much.
Yeah, I didn't even. We've seen a retirement as well from Albert DeWitt. Looks like whatever he dived into the pit lane for, or dove, I should say, to be grammatically correct.
Straight.
He retired from the session there as well. So that'll be an interesting to find out what happened there from his perspective. But what a race again! Once again, Granty Boy dominating the field.
Absolutely dominating. Yep. So coming from the back of the reverse grid there from 10th to take the win and the double win, most importantly on the evening, just confirming why he's won this championship with such conviction. We do need to make a decision on driver of the day, and I think that's going to be difficult from some of the moves we've seen get done towards the end of this session, and some of the risks that people have been taking. What do you reckon, Aaron? I mean, I could easily put 5 or 6 names out there.
I really could. I've been trying to make a note of all these names, and you know what? For me, from the perspective of a maiden voyage out in the SlyDog Racing League, Butler had a really, really fantastic race there.
And I've just seen that as well, and I think that's clinched it. 18th on the grid, a bit of a disaster for Butler in the first race here, but I think a well-deserved Driver of the Day award there for Butler, as we just get a good look at this final running order for everyone there. So Butler takes the Driver of the Day award. Most importantly, Granty Boy takes the victory. NUFC fan Liam does get a massive boost in that championship battle with Albert DeWitt then. So second place, Albert DeWitt having to disqualify in the end. Not too sure what happened there. James Punt and Wheeler keeping it close again. So again, James Punt 4th, Wheeler 5th. Brilliant battle going on there in the Drivers' Championship. Joseph Morados had to dive into the pits at the end there to get on the fresher tyres or whatever he may needed to do, but does put in a great showing as well from 11th on the grid to keep 6th. Lawson, our pole sitter, finishes 7th in the end. A tough drive from him to lead for most of that race and to have the pressure on, but couldn't quite keep it going on the final laps. Trem, we saw some brilliant moves from Trem there. Obviously the contact with Granty Boy that really sort of ruined his race in the end, spun him round on that exit of turn 2, so just getting a little bit too eager it seems. ZGS as well, 19th on the grid tonight, not a bad showing from him either. Right, so that was entertaining. I think that's probably the best way to sum it up.
It really was. I'm just going to see if I can get hold of Granty Boy just to have a quick chat with him towards the end of the evening before we end the stream for tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be brilliant to keep an eye on what's going on in his head there, because he had an interesting race, sort of scything through the field, and then obviously having that incident with the McLaren driver. And he's in the chat with us now. So how was that for you, Granty? No, he's not with us at the moment.
Yo, sorry. Hello.
No, there we are. We were just talking about your performance there in that Russia race, which was obviously you wouldn't have seen much of it because you were leading towards the end, but carnage at the end behind you. But how did it feel for you? Because it looked like a brilliant comeback drive from 10th there to get yourself on the top step of the podium.
Yeah, no, very good race today in Russia. It felt very carnage. In turn 1, it was absolutely mental. I was backing out for that. I think about 6-7 cars wanted to take that turn 1 for the win, to be honest. It was really not good to see. But yeah, when the safety car came out, I pitted. Mediums was going to do 5 laps to the end of the race, like for softs. So I thought I'd just go on softs and see what they can do. And yeah, sort of tired management out and to the end and done a pretty good job. But yeah, no, it was absolutely carnage. I saw that last bit, mate. It was, that was good to see.
That was, I mean, trying to keep up with it and trying to make sense of it is going to be fun a bit later on. But yeah, certainly very entertaining.
I mean, you had a little bit of a tense moment there. Obviously, I think it was about lap 7 you were running, and Trem all of a sudden just you made the move on Trem, and then he sort of dove back up the inside into turn 1. It was a bit of a tense one, wasn't it?
Yeah, he said that he thought that he thought that he saw room, and I wasn't expecting it at all from Trem. I literally felt a car hit me. Luckily, I didn't get any wing damage, but yeah, I felt sorry for Trem. if I knew he was going to do it, I would have given him room, but I didn't feel like he was going to do anything. And then when I saw him hitting me, I thought, oh, blimey, he actually sent that. So, yeah, no, it was quite a bit of a shocker, to be fair. I wasn't expecting that from Trim.
Yeah, he had just pulled off a brilliant move the lap before where he took 2 on the main straight, and I think he was just a bit sort of like, well, I've just pulled that off. I'm going to try something else a bit daring, but no, it didn't work out for him in the end, which is a shame. But yeah, very good race there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Monaco as well, obviously leading from start to finish. Close qualifying for you in the end there with Joseph Morados. He's looking like he was keeping pace, and then he had a bit of an incident in that Monaco race as well, which was a shame.
Yeah, it's obviously you saw it in the chat. He had his controller disconnected and made him crash, which is actually quite a shame, to be honest. He did have very good pace in Monaco. I felt like there were some parts where I was gaining on him, and some parts he was gaining on me. I felt like a mistake was there. He made the mistake and made me carry on to go ahead and win it. I did feel like Morados could have, maybe caught up with me. I was very intense on that track. It was very not up to 100% acceleration at all. I was keeping it really steady. It was very struggling.
He does seem like one of the guys in this championship at the moment, a recent sort of entry into the championship who could potentially on pace give you a little bit of a run for your money. He was keeping pace, like we said, in Monaco, and once again there in Russia he looked quick in that Ferrari. So is he someone to watch out for, do you reckon, next season?
To be fair, there was a lot of words about Joseph Morados with his pace in his last few races that he's actually done for SL for the SlyDog League, and he's definitely one of the guys to look out for. Duck, man, I felt like he's got a lot of pace. We've had a few battles in the past. I always thought he was a threat. Panda, he was really good on his strategies before he left the league. He was very good on that. I think he won a few races actually with his safety cars where I didn't pit and he did, and he had the time gap in front of me. So it's all different plays. To be fair, it's 25%, and it does give more open opportunities for guys to pit in if there's a safety car. I feel like if you don't pit, then I feel like you've lost the race.
Well, there we go. There we have it. All the information from tonight's races. Grant, thank you ever so much for joining us again.
No, thank you. Thank you very much.
You've had once again a cracking evening. You've secured the championship massively. 2 wins out of 2 there. Seemingly unstoppable.
We'll see next season. I very much doubt it'll be me.
Any news on, just before you go, any news on what happened to Albert in that last race? Obviously, we're trying to keep an eye here on himself and Liam in the Drivers' Championship. Obviously, we noticed that he just took a quick dive into the pits there and then
didn't come back out.
Yeah, he just said it was a very poor race from him. He had 14 seconds time penalties, maybe of how far behind he was. I felt like he might not have grabbed any points. He didn't see anything else after that. He sounded pretty disappointed.
It's such a shame, really.
Yeah.
I mean, in Monaco, he had a much better race than he was making out that he was expecting. So, a really good result for him in Monaco. I think Russia. We were saying in commentary that Russia is one of those circuits where corner cutting stringency is so strict that when you're really trying to push the car and you're trying to use that width on the circuit, you do end up just slightly running wide, picking up those penalties, and trying to avoid them, I suppose, is a massive key to that race.
Yeah, absolutely, massive key. Some of the corners were very strict for corner cutting. Even if you went over just a slight, it was a corner cut. Some others you could get away with. It's just how you take it in on your turn-ins. Obviously I got a penalty. It was quite unfortunate. The last one, and I got for the penalty. It didn't feel like I cut the corner. I do understand on the other guys that did get penalties today in Russia.
Well, there we have it, Tom.
there we have it. Thank you for.
Just before you go, Connie, just one more thing before you go, because we said earlier on that we were gonna ask you this.
Okay.
I'm gonna pose you with a hypothetical situation.
Right.
You've spilt beer all over your missus' brand new table runner. You've mopped it up with some double ply tissues. Do you tell her or do you not tell her? Mop it up, leave it. I mean, we were having this debate. There was a bit of a spillage between Monaco and Russia. There wasn't even any action going on, and there was
during the lobby mix-up. We thought we'd debate this for a couple of minutes, and it took.
We were intrigued to get your opinion on this post race.
Oh, blimey.
Do you confess?
I'm 50-50, mate, because I usually confess on some stuff if she knows about it. If she don't, I'll just leave it.
I think
Correct
that
answer.
sums it up. I think I'm just leaving it, Tom.
Absolutely correct answer.
Yeah, leave it.
I'm glad we got that cleared up before we finish this.
Give everyone a reason. Give everyone a reason to watch next week to see if anything comes of that.
Yeah.
Quality boys. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to the stream, man, especially for that debate.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you ever so much, Grant, for joining us. And
yeah, thank you. Quality commentating again.
We will no doubt chat to you again at some point very, very soon.
Lovely.
Obviously next week.
Yeah,
So,
I'm more than happy to talk. No problem. More than happy to.
Fantastic. So yeah, I think we're going to end it for things this evening. Then it's been great racing. Obviously, the two races here. So Monaco, plenty of action to discuss, but that final couple of laps in Russia, a lot to digest and try and get sorted within the race reports and also the highlights tape that we're going to be putting up as well. So keep an eye out for that on the YouTube page. The Facebook page is also going to have a couple of things posted up on there once we've got that all sorted as well in the next coming days. And obviously we will be back next week for more action in Brazil and Canada. So thank you very much for watching, and it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from me. Take care, everyone.